Welcome to our virtual duck race 2021. My name is Joe Maddie, and on behalf of JourneyCare, the JourneyCare Foundation, I want to say thank you to all of our community leaders, corporate partners, and philanthropists. Our duck race looks a lot different this year. We intended to have it at Linda and Bob Bowman's house, but Mother Nature didn't want us to have it on Saturday. So we're indoors at the Pepper Hospice home in Barrington, filming this year's duck race. You may remember a few years ago we were at the Barrington Park District. We had our families, our pediatric families, we had our community partners, and COVID hit. So all we've done is pivot, and all you've done is continue to give. This year we once again have raised over $25,000 for our pediatrics program. So I want to say thank you to all of you who have contributed. If you haven't contributed yet, we haven't taken down the link. JourneyCare.org/give still allows you to make a difference in the lives of the people that we care a lot about. Today, we're going to have a virtual duck race. We're going to interview some family, some community partners, and a clinician. And today is all about supporting our pediatrics program. So at this time, I'm going to have our 3 volunteers walk up. What we're doing is we're going to be pulling the ducks. We have randomly selected where everybody's going to be receiving the award winners. Each heat will have 6 winners. So today there will be 36 winners after the ducks have been pulled. At this time, we're going to have one of our volunteers, Isabella, dump the ducks. Thank you. All right. Genevieve is going to pull 6 ducks, and we will randomly be selecting them into this. So Genevieve, if you can select 6 ducks for us and give them to Alexis. All right. This is a very important and very difficult process right now. So we have the first 4 winners. Now we have the first 6. So as we, go ahead, you can take it. So as we figure out who our first 6 winners are, I'm going to invite a family up here to talk to us. Miguel and Jennifer, if you could please join me up here. Miguel and Jennifer are going to tell us about their story and how JourneyCare has impacted their family. Jennifer, Miguel, thank you for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Again, please tell us what JourneyCare and how JourneyCare was part of your family.
Sure. When our daughter Cadence was born, we knew that she was going to have a slight issues is what we were told. Okay. But when she was born, it turned out that her brain didn't grow past 12 weeks of gestation, and it was very, very complicated. They told us we wouldn't make it out of the hospital, but that wasn't the case. So they were sending us home, and we had a very complicated daughter case. We had 3 other kids at home, and I worked full-time, and he worked full-time. Mm-hmm. So it was we just didn't understand how we were going to take care of someone, a little girl that needed so much care, more care than I can even fathom, of medicine, cathing, all the stuff that needed to be done throughout the day and night, and work full-time and take care of our 3 children, and what the costs were going to be. So we were leaving there with really no answers until one of the social workers, we were there for about a month, so finally on the second to last day, said, oh, we should get you in contact with JourneyCare. So as we were, cried every day, probably, which isn't a surprise, but as we were leaving, finally we had somebody from JourneyCare come in and talk to us. And they said, we're going to be there. We're going to be there when you get home. We're going to help you coordinate the medicine, her care. It really sounded like they were going to be the quarterback for the whole, our life. We looked at each other and we said, is this real? I mean, remember when we were somebody's going to actually help us? Because, yes. I just honestly didn't know how life was going to happen when we got home. Do you have anything to add?
No, yeah, I think you did a good job with that. I think we had more questions and answers at that moment when we were in the hospital. You can imagine just knowing that you were going to have a baby girl and your heart just breaks depending on the condition that she was given when she was born. But, just from the very start, being in that room where they held our hands literally and walked us through what they were going to do for us and for our daughter, and then met us at home the next day when we were discharged from the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Miguel, as a father to a father, you can never understand, comprehend the strength that it takes to raise a family, the commitment to your spouse and what it means.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I had a struggle with, or I had difficulty with accepting, was help, right?
Mhm.
As a father, like you're
Yep.
you're the father of the family. You're the main guy. You're supposed to
be
take care of
every,
family,
yeah,
everything.
exactly.
And JourneyCare really helped me address that and said, hey, I know that you want to be tough, but this is a time for you to be able to enjoy your daughter. So let us be part of this journey, right?
Right.
I mean, it's so cliche, JourneyCare, everything, but
Right.
that was the whole what I learned from them. So the moments when I needed someone to be there for me, when I didn't have that strength,
Yeah.
they were there. Absolutely.
I want to say thank you. We're going to ask you guys to go off screen for a little bit, but we're going to bring you back after the next race. And we're going to be bringing one of our clinicians, Sheila, up after the next race to show what a family JourneyCare really is to your family. I just want to say this. We have thousands of partners, thousands of community partners. Today we have the Garlands, Barrington Bank and Trust, which is a Wintrust organization, and Stryker Group. Those are 3 other community partners that have helped us today. When you're a family and you have the clinicians coming and you call our phone number, you don't know what to expect. Our partners have been there to make sure that you have the resources and tools that you need, regardless of where you're at in your ability and in your, what insurance you have. So again, I want to say thank you to our corporate partners. These are people that don't get to meet the clinicians. They don't get to talk to the families and the friends, but they're here for us. So again, I want to say thank you to our corporate partners, and I want to say thank you to all of our philanthropists. These are real stories. These are not scripted stories. My staff doesn't believe in scripting me, and they don't believe in scripting what we say. We just speak from the heart, and you don't do this type of work for anything other than wanting to make a difference. So again, journeycare.org/give if you want to continue to make a difference. They're going to do our next heat. We're going to do very similar to what we just did, and while they're going to be picking the 6, polling of the next 6, I'll read the first 6 winners of the last race. Susan Klingston, Vanessa Severance, Michael Burke, Carol Majaski, Heather Brassett, and Ann Lee. Congratulations, you are our first 6 winners of the heat. Girls, if you'd like to start picking 6 more ducks so we can go to that next race. And again, once again, these are all randomly selected. The ducks that we have in the pool have been with us for probably about 20 years, and they look it, but they're efficient. So I want to again thank our volunteers today. I think we're good. And then we're going to get our next 6 winners. Thank you, girls. I'm going to bring up one of our nurses, one of our friends, Sheila. Many of you know Sheila. Many of you have met Sheila at our events before. The one thing I'd like to say is being a part of the JourneyCare team, it doesn't matter what your title, what your position is, you're on one team. And you get to meet people that are making a difference in the lives of our patients, their families, and you have to be humbled by the work that our team does. Sheila's one of them. I get to see her a couple of times a year, and every time I see her, I leave thinking, okay, I've done nothing today. Sheila, why don't you just tell everybody that's watching what you do on behalf of JourneyCare?
Gosh, where to start? So I feel like I've actually gotten more from this job than I give. More from these families, like Jennifer and Miguel that you've met, than I could ever possibly have gotten. So I am a nurse on the team. I am also now the associate team manager with the pediatric team. So meeting these families, and from the beginning, sometimes we get them like we did with Cadence, right from the NICU, with all of these unanswered questions and an uncertain future of how long she's going to live, and we don't put a time limit on that, and just letting the parents be parents. They have to learn so much medical things. You know, the feedings are given through a G-tube and the medications and all that stuff. They do have to learn that to be a part of their child's life, but we want them to concentrate on being a parent and not just concentrating on all of the medical stuff. So that's what we try to help guide them through, help to teach them, show them what to expect as the condition starts to change, and help prepare them as much as we can, knowing, again, that nobody has the answers. None of us have a crystal ball. So meeting the families, explaining our incredible team. We have chaplains and CNAs and social workers, and I'm reading some of it. nurses, obviously, and we all meet the families, and everybody has their specific role, but yet we all work together as one team. And we communicate very well together. And so I think because of that is why our families feel so supported, because each team member is so incredible and excellent at their own individual role.
Let me ask you a question. You get to meet a lot of different families.
Yeah.
And over the last couple of years, we've gotten to meet families that you're still in communication with. How does that bond develop that you 5, 6, 7 years after you've worked with a family, you're still receiving Christmas cards from them, you're still talking to them, you still can walk into a room just like you did earlier and joke around with each other, and maybe it's been 3, 4, 5 years since you've seen them. How does that bond develop? Where's that trust come from?
I believe it's because we are brought into their lives at such an intimate moment in their lives. It's intense, but it's also very intimate. Just like the birth of a child is very intimate, the death of a child is also very intimate. And this is going to sound like an oxymoron, but can be a beautiful experience. So that is a bond and something that we share with these families that unless you've been there and walked through it with them, it's a bond you'll never lose.
Right.
I could go years without seeing these guys and see them again and just pick right back up. So I think it's just because we're with them at such an intimate point in their lives, and helping them go through, can I say hell?
Yeah.
Hell on earth.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean,
Yes.
to lose a child is something that is not natural and it should not happen. And if I could take that away from all of our families, I would. I wish I didn't have a job. I wish this job did not exist and wasn't needed. But because it is, they're the ones that give us strength. But so I think it's just because we're brought in at such an intimate time and they open up to us, share their hopes, their dreams, their dreams that were lost and now they have new dreams. Their hopes that they had that their child will grow up and get married, those hopes are gone, but now they have new hopes, and we try to give them new hopes and dreams for their child every day so that they can, live the best quality of life as long as that is. So I think that's what it is. It's such an intimate time that they share so much with us, sometimes in a very short amount of time.
Thank you, Sheila. After the next race, I'm going to bring up Miguel and Jennifer and Sheila, and we're going to talk about a topic that has been receiving a lot, especially after COVID and the pandemic, the caregiver fatigue. How you balance and play, and maybe one day you don't have it, and your spouse is your grandparents, the parents, have to pick up. How do the clinicians help, and the caregiver fatigue? We're going to talk a little bit about that after this next race. I'll have our 3 volunteers come up here again. They're going to draw 6 more ducks, but I just want to thank Meg Schmitz, Andrew Dreyer, and Sharon Scott. They were the largest philanthropists to this year's duck race. So on behalf of JourneyCare and all of our patients and families, I just want to say thank you for your support this year. All right, we're going to have 6 more ducks chosen for heat number 3. Again, these ducks are randomly selected. Go ahead, Alexis, you can put them in there. After the race number 2, we have the Hitchcock family, the Zundwell family, the Hedgip family, Hughes family, Wilcock family, and Bryant family. These are all the pediatric families that we wanted to make sure were identified today. All of the families that are on our care this year all received a couple 2025 ducks because of our philanthropists, and we want to just again thank all of the families and make sure that they know we're with them. And this year we have these 6 families that have won. Ladies, thank you very much. You can step off to the side. Again, I want to thank our philanthropists, and I want to thank all of you for helping us today. And now I'm going to bring up Jennifer, Miguel, and Sheila. We're going to just continue that conversation. Jennifer's probably going to kick me. She's wiping, I'm sure, mascara out of her eyes right now. You have to understand, this is real.
Try not to cry on camera.
This is part of what we do at JourneyCare, and we're part of the family. And again, we're not doing edits, we're not doing second, third takes. This is just one take because of the fact that we're speaking from the heart. So I'm going to kind of turn to the 3 of you and just talk about that. I know the term is caregiver fatigue, but I'm sure there's one day, Miguel, you just wanted to stay in bed, put the covers over your head, and just not leave. But you knew you had your family and your wife. And so tell me how you relied on your parents, your in-laws, your wife, your kids, and JourneyCare. Is there just how you balanced it and kind of looked at it?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was one of the tricky parts with having a child that has special needs is who do you trust to like take care of your kid with all the necessities that they needed to have that QL, right, quality of life, and be able to eat and feed. And honestly, it was just family. I mean, just the communication between JourneyCare, Sheila, and Marjorie, all the nurses, after Sheila decided to take a promotion help to her. But anyhow,
I tried to get not to say that on camera. I'm sorry.
with all that, it was just family. I mean, the communication was key, like through the app and then to phone calls. And I mean, it was just without them and without my mom and my in-laws, like there's just no way we could do it without them.
And JourneyCare did a great job of communicating with our nanny, who we had on full-time just for Cadence, and making sure that she knew how to run everything, and a little challenging at times, but run all the equipment, because I mean, Cadence needed every equipment under the sun. Like, how are we supposed to know how to run that?
Right.
Or if it breaks, the first person I call or message on the app is, Sheila or Marjorie saying, hey, this is broken, how do I get help? And we were comfortable with it. So now with my mother-in-law or my nanny not being as comfortable, I mean, they were right there to help and how to, prop Cadence up, and because every little thing was a big deal for Cadence. The medicine being on time, and another thing we also did is we did stay here a few times. When Cadence got really sick, we stayed at the inpatient center, and everybody, it was such a smooth transition from Sheila or Marjorie getting everything ready, packing our whole house, it seemed like, to come here to get care, and it was just such a smooth transition. I mean, both places are so important because now we have new, caregivers helping us in the inpatient center that don't really know Cadence, but it seemed like they did, just because of the communication. And that's all because, JourneyCare runs so well and is so needed by these families and by us. So that, just because that's when I did get a little bit of a break, because it was all night. I don't know when I slept last. Didn't help having twins in the middle of everything, but it was the, JourneyCare gave us that relief we needed.
So Sheila, I'm going to ask, we've heard a lot about communication, the team, and something that's been in the background, but we're all experiencing is technology. When you first started out in pediatric hospice, palliative care, to now, how has technology changed how we interact with families, how families interact with us, the communication?
That has changed a lot. We did have, when we and Cadence was on, we did have Tap Cloud, which was an app that they could send message, HIPAA secure messages to us, to the whole team, which was awesome because, like, if your main nurse was off, someone else would pick it up, or if the social worker needed it, whatever. So, unfortunately, we're not using, things have changed. We're not using that app anymore, but we have a secure PEDS email for that, for those needs as well, also just for non-urgent needs. And then the urgent needs, of course, go through 24/7. So it's still just that communication, and again, using the emails for non-urgent, and then our 24/7 calls for the urgent needs.
The one thing I'm going to ask is the first time you call, because again, you could have a person that's intimately involved with this organization, JourneyCare, and then somebody who's never heard of it. When you pick up that phone call, or the phone to make that first phone call, you don't know what to expect. What would be a piece of advice that you'd want to give that family, might be hearing this, thinking about it, to make that first phone call? What is that to be expect? What is the one thing that you want to just give as an advice?
I would say make the phone call. Reach out. If you have, unfortunately, if you have a son or daughter that is in need of hospice care or palliative care, reach out and get the information. Doesn't mean you're making a commitment, doesn't mean you're, what you're doing is you're getting the information that you need to know what options you have. And at this time, it may seem, I was running of like just keeping Cadence alive. My job was to get her medicine, keep her alive, and I would ask all the time, when is she gonna pass away? Like, give me the time and date, because I'm a numbers person, and I just wanted a time and date so I could be emotionally prepared. And they let me be a mom. They let me be emotional. And they provided me to be able to, they took care of doctor appointments and different, kind of coordinating some of the stuff and the medicine that I could actually connect with my daughter and let myself, just be attached. I cried horrible. But let myself be attached to her. And even though it was harder being attached, it allowed me to love my daughter and get to know her for who she was and let her go to school and all the things that I was able to do. So make that call, because then you could be a mom or a dad and you don't have to be the 24-hour caregiver. You're gonna get questions answered. You don't have to be on the phone to doctor appointments or doctor's offices. So just, I would say, reach out and get the information. I followed up as I cried.
No, giving that call is like what Jennifer had mentioned, but have an open mind. Obviously, like when you make that phone call, have an open mind when they're answering your questions, and they're not gonna all answer them. You might not have all the questions that day, but you'll get them as you're going through this path with them. One thing I would say is, like, I know Sheila had said that she received a lot from the patients, this is ours or the kiddos, but we received a lot from her. I mean, and from Journey, like JourneyCare, like I saw all the volunteers, all these amazing people that were in here, and the nurses and everything helping us out, that who knew that one day I was gonna want to give back as well. So I have the opportunity to help and volunteer now, ever since our daughter earned her wings and everything, but giving out to these families and these parents, and then even me changing careers based on all the service that we got from JourneyCare. So, I mean, it touched my life, our family's life, and it's changed it for the better. And without JourneyCare, there's just no way we'd be able to be where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm. I want to say thank you to all three of you for everything. Again, without you being able to be part of these people's lives, our family members' lives, your commitment, your philanthropy goes way beyond just you hitting the send button after you put in your credit card. You're changing people's lives, and for that we are very grateful and thankful. Everything that you hear today is real. We're not editing, scripting anything. You hear our kids in the background laughing, giggling. That's what that's what JourneyCare sometimes does, is let a family be a family. And again, we just want to say thank you. We're going to have another duck race. We have 3 more races to go through, so if our 3 volunteers can come up, we're going to pull 3 more. I just want to say thank you again. We have 6 more winners, and then we'll pick 6 more. The race 3 winners are Meg Schmitz, Mary Thomas, Kay Ann Blazek, Valerie Domain, Lawrence Washow, and Dolores Thies. So again, I want to thank you all for your support. As we're pulling these 6, I just want to let you know that we are here in Barrington today at one of our facilities, the Pepper Family Hospice Home. What we do here is make sure families can be a part of families. Let me read the race 4 winners. We have John Risner, Emily Kate Miller, Catherine Strauss, Valerie Reynolds, Mark Giacco, and Janet Duran. So girls, if you want to be able to pull the next 6 ducks for our duck race. So again, this is heat number 5 out of 6 heats. We're going to be calling up Molly Connolly, who's one of our foundation directors, and she's with corporations after this heat. But again, I want to once again thank all of our volunteers. You heard the word volunteer a lot in the last interview. We have about 1,200 volunteers. They do everything from youth groups to some work in administrative offices and to patient care. So again, I want to say thank you to all of our volunteers. Girls, if you want to go off to the side, and I'm happy to have Molly Connolly join me up here. Molly, again, it's a pleasure to finally see you. I know we work together. We don't get to see each other a lot now. But Molly also runs our Youth Advisory Board. Can you just tell us a little bit about that and what's been a challenge working with children and kids right now in a virtual world?
So thanks, Joe. I am in charge of the JourneyCare Youth Advisory Board. It's high school students. Currently, we have about 25 of them. On the Youth Advisory Board, we also have an executive committee, which is a great leadership opportunity for high school students.
These students meet once a month. It's been a challenge this year because we've had to do the Youth Advisory Board all virtual. So there's been a lot of Zooming, a lot of emails, but it's really still done. They've done great work. They each had individual fundraising pages for the duck race. They had individual fundraising goals. They sent out emails. They did social media posts for the duck race, and I couldn't be more proud of the group.
But please help me remember, they also helped with some of the food drive that we did for the Pepper Family Hospice Home Inpatient Center, and then the Marshak Family Hospice Center in Glenview. Tell us a little bit about what the kids did for that.
Right, so the Barrington High School had leftover concession food, which was more than just candy bars and chips. There was water and other healthy granola bars and nuts. So we put food bags together, individual bags together. The Youth Advisory Board met and put those bags together for our patient families. We dropped them off actually here in Barrington, Glenview, and in Chicago. So that was really a great give back volunteer opportunity.
So on the opposite end of the spectrum, you also are Director of Corporate Relations. So you work with a lot of our corporations on not just philanthropy, but volunteering, how our programs can help their employees. Talk to us a little bit about what separates JourneyCare from other organizations that our corporations want to partner with us.
Yeah, I think JourneyCare, first of all, our mission. You know, we are an organization that at some point all of us will encounter this mission, and everyone will be touched by it. And I think that really resonates with corporations. Also, we are a leader in our community as a nonprofit, and I think corporations want to demonstrate that as well. So they enjoy partnering with us to show their leadership in the community, and they're giving back to the community and making a difference.
So I want to once again thank Molly, thank our corporate partners, journeycare.org/give to make a donation, but also journeycare.org to learn about what we're doing in the community. If your company may have an opportunity for volunteering, learning more about grief support, how to work with your employees around the loss of a loved one, please give us a call. JourneyCare is a suite of services that we want to make sure that we help all families with. So at this time, I'm going to call up our 3 volunteers again. We're going to be going into the last heat of the day. They're going to be picking 6 more winners. Again, this is the last draw that we had was for the pediatric families. So all 125 of our pediatric family members received around 25 ducks in their name. And this round was won by the Dominguez family, the Aon family, Kirkland family, Lesnon family, the Simon family, and the Orisha family. So I want to once again congratulate them. And as we choose the last 6 winners of the duck race, I want to say thank you to these 3 volunteers who have been helping us out today. I'll be honest with you, they had no choice. These are my daughters. They've been around JourneyCare for about 6 years now. They understand what it means to appreciate what you have, but they have to give back. They need to be a part of the community. And a lot of our kids, what Molly were just talking about, are part of our youth groups that about giving back and making a difference. So girls, thank you very much for your help. I'm going to call up the chairwoman of our foundation board, Miss Linda Bowman. Many of you know Linda. She's a fixture in our community. She's been our board chair for about 3 years now. Hopefully for a few more years, if I can convince her to keep staying around. But when we started out today, we were saying that we're shooting live from the Pepper Family Hospice Home. So Linda's mom and dad and family have been here from the beginning, making a difference in our communities. So Linda, thank you again for coming today. You're our board chair. You lead the community, the philanthropic initiatives. Tell us a little bit about how you and your family are involved and still part of the JourneyCare family.
Well, gosh, I think my mom's kind of retired now, so she's a lifetime trustee. My whole life I've just been raised with JourneyCare. She was here from the beginning. They started almost the beginning. She didn't actually start it, but And they've just been, I grew up with it, so I'm just kind of,
Yeah,
it was just natural kind of for me to move in,
yes.
plus a little push from mom and dad, like your kids.
Like my kids, yeah. Push is good sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, when Linda talks about it being a family, you have your mom and dad, a part of this group, the founding of it. Your daughters have been at events.
Mhm.
Your husband is always there, kind of helping out with whatever we need.
Whatever I
You need.
tell him
You
to
tell
do,
him
yeah.
to do. Sorry, Bob. But you know, there's
Yeah.
hundreds of organizations that are in our community, the Chicagoland area. What separates JourneyCare apart from the other groups that you're involved with?
I think it's just the meaning of the whole thing. It's just what the people do. It's the families that are involved. It's just, it just like always touches your heart that people are going through it, and they make it such a wonderful experience for the families that are going through life ending, especially the pediatrics, which is really close
Yeah.
to my heart. I just couldn't imagine what they go through and
Yeah.
how hard it is, but they just help.
So one of the things that we've been hearing from the families over the last 5-7 years that we've been doing this in this format, each family member will privately, off screen, on the side of at the pool, will say we had 5 amazing years with, we had 7 amazing years with. And the thing that they keep talking to us about is not the length of time that we had with our
It's the
children.
quality
It's
of
the
time.
quality of time.
Yeah.
And we hear that so often. You've heard it. I mean,
Yeah, and the special things that they'll do for them.
Yes.
And, yeah, I think it makes it a little easier. I know it's not easy, but maybe a little easier on them.
Yep.
The things that they do here, so, yeah.
So before I thank you once again for being a part of this year's duck race, is there anything you want to say to our community members, families, before we kind of sign off for this year?
No, I just want to say thank you for everybody that has donated or helped or, that's pretty much it. I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
For
Thank
everybody works so hard that, yeah.
Thank you. Well, Bella, why don't you bring up the last 6 winners? Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. So we have the last 6 winners. It's Anthony Savan, Anne Marie Pfizer, Ryan Ban, Joseph Mendola, James Hobbs, and Susan Klingstein. Again, I want to say thank you and congratulations to these 6 winners. Our team will be reaching out to you to let you know when and how to receive the gifts that you've won. I want to once again reiterate our thanks. We've raised over $25,000 on these little ducks for our pediatrics program. So this started because of the fact that we wanted to make sure that we have a way for our families, our community to celebrate and appreciate the work that is done here on behalf of our pediatric families, and we think it's a cute little way to continue to do it. It's not the amount of money that we're raising for this, it's the fact that we're making sure our pediatrics program is front and center on who we are. I want to once again thank our board of directors. On behalf of our CEO, Kimberly Hobson, and myself, I want to say thank you for all of our community support, the philanthropists, our partners. I want to let the families know that are on our services and those who have graduated from our services, we're with you, we're here for you, and we want to thank you. For my staff, Jim Jaraki, Molly Connolly, our 3 volunteers, Isabella, Alexis, and Genevieve Maddie, thank you for your help today. And to our fantastic crew, Thomas and Wade. It takes a lot of people to put this on. We had to call Linda Bowman and her husband last week when the storms were coming in and not knowing what's going to happen. And again, the word of 2020 pivot, we pivoted to our Pepper Family Hospice Home to be here. And I think it's pretty fitting that we're here today. So again, thank you very much. Again, JourneyCare.org/give to continue to make a difference in our community in the northern Illinois region of Chicago. And thank you.